Hey, welcome to another episode of MLM Renegade. Today, guys, we're going to talk about time management and how best to use our time. So here's the million-dollar question. How are network marketers like us, who've tried everything their upline ever suggested to be successful, and yet still struggled, who grew up with technology and aren't stuck in the 20th century, how are we supposed to grow our downlines in our bank accounts and yet still have time for real life? My name is J.R. McKee. Join me as we explore how to use 21st century learning and technology to grow our downlines and build lasting wealth. Simply put, this is MLM done different. Welcome to MLM Renegade. All right, welcome back, guys. So, I'm thinking about this today and trying to figure out where I can provide some value. I want this podcast to be all about delivering value for you guys as listeners, and also for the people who are value that I can have for myself, because the teacher becomes the learned, right? So I really do get a ton out of having these conversations. And one of the things that I think that I think I've missed over time is time management. I have purchased just about every day planner, organizer that you can think of. I had a Palm Pilot back in the early 2000s. I've had a Franklin Covey planner. I've had it all, and I know that that's one blind spot or one weak spot that I have, is that I sometimes, I can waste time. And I was listening to a video the other day about the difference between being a dabbler and being a doer. And it struck home, and it hurt a little bit, to be frank. And I think that a part of that is because those are things that I know, those are blind spots or weak spots that I know that I have. And so when somebody else calls it out, it hurts a little bit. So right now I'm using a planner from Brendon Burchard. And if you haven't read his book, Success Habits, or rather it's High Performance Habits, his book is fantastic. And it talks about the habits of high performers. And that's what I aspire to be, of course. And so I got this planner, and it breaks down the day by half hour, but then also has you focus on specific goals, and more than that, but actually how to engage with people, how to provide better value for people, and how to be a help for those around you. And so I use this each day. In fact, one of my favorite things that it asks me each day is today's message to myself. And the other one is person I need to lead or connect with today and how to do it well. Really, if we're providing value, whether it's in business, it's in life, it really does come down to time. There's an old ad for a Christian church, I forget, but it said something about, family, isn't it about time? And my wife actually called me out on this recently, and so I had a little bit of mea culpa, right? I need to make some changes, but my home office can be a black hole. I can come up here early in the morning to start doing some of my personal development work, and then it can quickly get away from me, and all of a sudden it's midnight, and I've been sitting in the same chair all day long. I haven't left home. I haven't I've looked outside my window. But I haven't been outside and experienced the cool breeze or the warmth of the sun or anything. And I think so when she kind of called me out on it, she basically said, she's like, look, we need some balance. Now, I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as balance when you're an entrepreneur. It is more about focus. And because it's kind of like a three-legged stool, right? I mean, you've got your entrepreneurial endeavors, you've got maybe your work endeavors, and you've got your family life. And you have to be able to balance those things in such a way that you can give the people who matter most, that's your family, what they need, so that we can ultimately be happier. And so I try to use this high performance planner from Brennan Bouchard to help me with that, to think about the people who need my very best. And I want to encourage you guys to think about that on your own, to think about the time and how you're spending it. You know, I'm a big fan of the Five Love Languages book. Now, it's been helpful definitely in my marriage and my personal life, but it's also really helpful in business because I've been able to identify team members and other people and kind of how they feel appreciated, how they feel loved. And then I can exemplify that. So personally, I'm very much a gift giver. That's how I like to show love and affection. And I feel that I receive it in much the same way. But some people aren't like that. Some people need quality time. Some people just need acts of service. Some people are physical touch. And I think that the real benefit that you can get by understanding where you are and where those around you come from is now you can interact with people and use those emotions to help you. Now, I have a career in sales, so I talk about that a lot. And in my career, I've found that understanding how these people want to be appreciated leads me in how best I can interact with them to accomplish my goals and to help them with theirs. So quality time is an important facet. In fact, that's one of my wife's love languages. She's also very much an acts of service girl. And so, getting her flowers, I don't do it very often because the effect diminishes. Now, she loves it when I do, and probably because I don't do it as often as maybe I used to when I thought that was my go-to move. But I think that quality time is what she was asking for when she kind of called me on the carpet. And so I've had to block my day up. I've had to time block my time so that I'm balancing my efforts in a way that, now it's not going to be balanced 100% of the time. You're looking at a macro view. So over time, I want to have a balance, but in the moment, I need to be focused. And so whether it's I'm focusing on my business, or I'm focusing on a new course that I'm developing, or if I'm focusing on my day job and how I interact with my clients there and the people that I need to interact with on a daily basis, or if it's how I spend my time. This time of year is baseball season, and we spend a lot of time at the ballpark with our youngest, and part of that is quality time, but it can also get lost. And so for me, it's really important to get out of my office and to spend time with those that I love and those that are most important to me, and spend time showing them that they are the most important thing to me. So, you guys, this one's going to be a pretty short one today, but I want to encourage you to look at your time, look at how you spend your time, and if you're spending your time on the things that matter the most. And that's a question for each of us to understand for ourselves. Because if we are spending the time on the things that matter the most, we're going to excel in all areas of our life. But if we're not, if we're overspending time on our career or on our business, or then something else is going to suffer. If we're overspending time, if I'm spending too much time with my family, it's tough to provide for them if I'm just out playing all day long. And so, but the great thing especially about network marketing, is that the work is heavily front loaded. So you can do a lot of work to start, and maybe that's the balance, the out of balance that you need to have in order to get things moving. But down the road, you'll have the opportunity to live like nobody else. I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey, and he talks about living like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. And that, I think, at its core, is what I strive for. And I think for most people who are entrepreneurial, most people who want something better for their family, that's the ultimate goal. So, you guys, that's what I got for today. I hope that you guys can spend the time to enjoy time with your family during this awesome summertime of year. And that as you spend time with your family, you can really focus in on what drives you, what your real why is, why things are important to you, and then find that drive to go out and crush your goals. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe. And if you loved us, leave us an awesome review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you consume your podcasts. Now, if you'd like some free training for your team on how your recruiting efforts can be bettered and brought into the 21st century, go to podcast.mlmrenegade.com and get your copy of the Renegade Recruiting Kickstarter.